it's Drybear. And the best time of the year is almost upon us, and that is Monster Hunter time. The new installment of Monster Hunter is coming in February 28th. Monster Hunter Wilds is almost here, and they have an open beta this week that you definitely don't want to miss. And I know there's a mix of Monster Hunter fans out there, people who have been diehard fans ever since the very beginning of the series, long time ago. There's also a large percentage of the population that have started Monster Hunter with the release of Monster Hunter World, which is one of the biggest Monster Hunter games they have ever released, and they tend to do Monster Hunters every couple years. They did Monster Hunter Rise as a nice exploration, though Monster Hunter Rise was very different than World. It was very arcadey, very high octane, very high action, and didn't have the same kind of open world feel and gritty realistic aspect that World had. But we are getting that. This is essentially Monster Hunter World 2 or Monster Hunter Wilds, and the hype is building and building. This week, they are going to be opening open beta playtest for Steam on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So there is going to be an early access period for anyone on PlayStation 5 that has PS Plus exclusive. This will start tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific, and we'll have specific run times where you can play. So it's like a 12-hour period. It'll be up and then it'll be down while they're adding patches and cleaning things up. Then it'll come back up again for those 2 days, the 28th and 29th. Then it'll go down and be down for a little bit there on the 31st until the evening, where everyone will get access to it. So PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and for PC, it will be available on Steam. This is going to be a very long, like 3 or 4 day series for all platforms, and then an extra 2 or 3 days for PlayStation 5, PS Plus users, where you can experiment with the game. Now, this week is going to be a couple opportunities for the open beta. It is going to be an opportunity for custom character creations. You'll be getting access to the full launch character creation, and just like they did with Dragon's Dogma 2, you will be able to carry over your created characters into the live launch of the game, February 28th. So you'll be able to explore what you can create in the character creator, make your characters, customize your palico, your pet that comes along with you, and you can keep that for the launch, just like they did with Dragon's Dogma, and hold on to it for there. It's also going to be multiplayer, which means that you can group up with other players, test out the different hunts, try out the different content, play all of the different weapons available in the open beta test, and experiment what you think about Wilds and how it feels. And there's going to be a couple different encounters that you can run into. There's going to be a story trial and an individual hunt. So there's like a full story event, which is going to be more campaign related, and that is going to be the Chatacabra, which is this like armored toad looking dude. He is going to be a full story trial, which means that it's going to be the first time you encounter this monster. If you've never played a Monster Hunter before, the campaign usually is you exploring the world, running into the ecologies and the ecosystems, and encountering the monsters for the first time. And every time you encounter them for the first time, there's usually a special sequence, there's a cut scene, you have to learn about them, track them down and hunt them, and you can interact with that. That's going to be a full story hunt with the Chatacabra. On top of that, there's going to be a Doshaguma hunt, and this is going to be one of the early monsters in Wilds, but they do hunt in packs. There's a Doshaguma male, like alpha male, or like peak apex predator, like leader of the pack, and then there's a couple ones that go along with it. There are several monsters in the Monster Hunter series that operate this way, but I think it's going to be fun for experimenting with multiple monsters, playing around with a new focus system, the tracking, deployable campsites, and all the new functionality like riding your mount and all the different things that they have in Wilds, as well as testing all the weapons on top of it as well. So you want to be able to check this out, try the 2 different hunts that are in there, make your character explore the world, and see what you think about Monster Hunter Wilds, especially if you're someone who hasn't really tried Monster Hunter before, it's an easy time to try out the game for free this coming weekend. As is the case with most of these events when it comes to Capcom, there will be a bonus as well. By simply logging into the open beta test, you will get a pendant, a little like customizable attachment to either your weapon or your mount if you want. As long as you play the open beta test, you'll have this for the launch, as well as any other bonuses you have for the pre-orders and different packs of the game. So if you wanted to check out the test, I think it's a great time to pick this up. And it's not really for me. I'll probably won't use it at all, but I'll probably still collect it just to have it. And I think one of the biggest things about Monster Hunter is finding a weapon that you like. Monster Hunter is not a very complicated game, but it is a very heavily master-focused game. What I mean by that is most of the weapons aren't that hard to figure out how to use, but they are more like an instrument or an art form, in that learning to master every animation, learning everything about the monsters, the ecology, the world, the environment, using your environment like Ra's al Ghul would want you to, is part of mastering Monster Hunter, and that can take a very long time to get to the point where you're so expert with a specific weapon that everything falls into place. And I think everyone has either one weapon they like over all the other 13 weapons that are there for the total 14, or they have a couple weapons they really like. But if you're someone that isn't sure what weapon you're going to be playing with in the Wilds launch, I think it's worth it to make your character in the beta test and test out all the different fights, try out all the different weapons, see what makes sense for you, and plan ahead for the launch day, because this is going to be a huge moment. World was one of the biggest gaming moments we've had when it launched, and I think Wilds is going to be equal to that, if not bigger, early next year in February. But also expanding the functionality of Monster Hunter with Wilds, as they do with every main title. They like to include new mechanics and new functions that we haven't seen before, and in Wilds we have the mount coming in, which we had a form of with the Palamutes in Rise, but I think it's going to add a new dimension to the world style, like hardcore aesthetic. There are weather systems that will change which monsters appear and what you can do during those encounters, which is going to be really big. They also added in a, like with the clutch claw style, like hunter grapple, you can actually grapple items to you. You can farm this way, and you can play around with different environmental effects like you could in World, knocking things down, setting up traps, triggering things that way, which I think is going to be really cool and play with that kind of world style aesthetic. And there's also some new functionalities for the weapons themselves. So even if you're a Monster Hunter veteran, there's going to be new focus attacks, being able to go into clash states with monsters using specific weapons and be able to trigger special animations or focus weak points on the monster without having to clutch claw on them, which I think is going to make a really big difference in how we play. And hopefully will open up some opportunities to play weapons in new ways that we haven't seen before. So again, this is the open beta test period. If you're PlayStation 5 and PS Plus, you get access to it early starting tomorrow, and then everyone else will gain access on Thursday for all three platforms. You'll be able to play it on Steam, Xbox Series X or S, as well as PlayStation 5 on that. It has multiplayer, it has a whole bunch of rewards and 2 different contents that you can interact with, a full hunt and a story trial, so you'll be able to play through those as well, and it's something you don't want to miss, whether you're a Monster Hunter fan or just getting into the series. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.